Welcome to the Accelerated Investor Podcast with Josh Cantwell. If you're looking to retire early with forever passive income, you're in the right place. This podcast is the go-to destination for real estate investors, both active and passive, and multifamily apartment investors, both new, intermediate, and advanced. Now, sit back, listen, learn, and accelerate your business, your life, and your investing with the Accelerated Investor Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Accelerated Real Estate Investment. We have a phenomenal guest on with us today, Pete Turner. Before we get into a lot of the who's and the whys and the whats, what I'd really love to know is take us through your real estate journey, kind of how long you've been in it, what you've been doing, how it's blossomed or hasn't blossomed over the years, but also how did you find Josh?
Yeah, so thanks a lot for that question. So what I would start with is, I'm well into my 50s these days, and I started having an interest in real estate very young. When I was a young man in my 20s, I had wanted to invest in real estate, but my partner at the time, my wife at the time, was not a super fan. We got the old, used to have to get a book in the mail called the Landlord Tenant Handbook. We got the handbook, and everything she saw in there about evictions and trouble with tenants and, maybe missing out on money was very negative about it. So I parked it. Many years later, I had been divorced. I started looking at real estate. I was serving in the military, and, you couldn't really plan it, but I ended up going back and forth on a 4-unit home in Rhode Island. That's where I grew up. And it was a townhouse, 4 townhouses built in the 80s, all the amenities there, needed some good tenants, really difficult seller. He stepped out of the deal. He came back to the deal. It was before COVID. And in 2018, I never actually met the seller. He had built the house himself. He was a contractor and stepped away. My realtor at the time got me back into it. Got back into the deal, and even though things were back and forth, we ended up closing on that property the same day that my retirement was final with the military. So I had served active duty, I served in the reserves, and at the time I was in the reserves, and I had a lot of free time. I was going to have free weekends and stuff, so I closed on the same day I retired. You can't really pick it, it just happened. So kismet. And that one deal really excited me with multifamily, because even though the rents haven't been raised in a long time and they weren't where they are right now a few years later, it still replaced my National Guard income. It replaced it right away. So that got me super excited about real estate. And I started reading more and more books that, just trying to learn from people back in 2018, 2019. I went to some big seminars from some other folks. So I was always interested in professional development, and bought some more properties in the same area. Again, had some success. This is in 2019. And then in 2019, I was at a real estate investment seminar in Rhode Island, and I met a new wife. So I met a woman, Katrina. We're married now, and we have Capital Turners together. And we got our own website and everything. And we're both real estate investors and needed a little bit more guidance and trying to learn more and do something together. And I looked at, not to name any names, but I looked at a lot of different coaching programs. And what was really cool about Josh's program is that, number one, he's super engaging, right? So I listened to the podcasts and kind of got hooked. I understand the Cleveland market a little bit because I had to travel there for corporate quite a bit. So I knew that area. So when he was telling the stories about the properties that they worked on, it kind of registered with me and made sense and connected that way. And another super exciting thing about it was we were able to attend as a couple. We attended several masterminds, a couple masterminds in person. A lot of times we attend the calls in person, and I'll be attending the Cleveland mastermind on my own. But it's been great doing it as a couple and sharing that journey. So I would say the podcast kind of got me hooked. The fact that there's a lot of other great people in the mastermind to kind of up your game and be around those people that are doing the same thing or greater than you. obviously Josh is doing greater than a lot of folks, so it's great to hear from him. And then being able to do it as a couple, participate as a couple. We did look into some coaching programs where it was kind of an individual thing. So maybe we would have had to both pay for a membership or something like that. So it's nice that it's open to couples.
Are you ready to automate and explode your real estate investing? We're searching for extremely motivated individuals who are sick and tired of wasting time and want to finally see real results from their real estate investing business. We're searching for investors looking to get to the next level and become a bigger, better version of themselves while being a more successful real estate investing entrepreneur. Apply for mentoring and coaching at joshcantwellcoaching.com/podcast. That's joshcantwellcoaching.com/podcast.
Oh, man, I love that. Hey, so first off, thank you so much for your service. We appreciate it. Probably more than most people will ever know. But so thank you so much. And how crazy is it that the day your retirement gift from all those years of service was able to close? Not really, guys, but you get it. You know, that how cool was it to set it up knowing that you had a way to now supplement what it is that you were currently doing?
Yeah, it's really incredible.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this question. You said something that was interesting. Josh is, like you said, Josh is kind of just a down-to-earth type guy. He means what he says what it means. How has you, as you've been on these calls, you've been on the Zooms, you've watched him, how is his mind in thinking on dealing and structuring deals? How is the process being able to see him work through that helped you build confidence, but also see real estate in a different lens?
You know, it's really just about seeing what's possible. You know, you can see that Josh and his team can do it. You can see other people in the mastermind are able to do it and accomplish great things. Even outside of the mastermind, like you can see other people in social media and other syndicators that are closing deals and getting things done. And, you know, success leaves clues, and Josh's program and all the documentation make it very easy to repeat success.
I like that. You know, you always hear successful people leave breadcrumbs, and he loves to leave those breadcrumbs for people that want to get involved. Let me ask you this question. What would be one or two actionable steps that you would give to somebody who is in the program, but they're not actively taking part of the program?
You know, when you're on the calls, first attend the calls, right? We're all busy. We can't make all the calls, but I'll tell you, of the calls that I made or watched recorded, Josh throws out these little challenges, right? He's like, hey, we're doing a 30-day challenge. If you start your website, start your website. Well, when that call went out there, like, we got to get going. And that's when we launched our Capital Turners platform. We used all of Josh's marketing information, right down to even the LOIs that we have submitted. We haven't landed a deal that makes a lot of sense yet, but every time we've submitted an LOI, it's really been lock and step with the program and using some of the forms that Josh puts out there. So those two things, you know, do the challenges, get the documentation, and take action. You know, taking action is the number one thing.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to somebody who is kind of on that fence of, I don't know, the price, or is it really what it is? What would you give one or two actionable steps to someone who is teetering if we should get involved?
Well, I mean, for us, we already have a generated income from real estate. We own and operate just under 50 units of traditional, you know, multifamily, sixes, threes, twos, the 4-unit that I had closed on. So we have that cash flow coming in. So, you know, we're blessed that way. And we wanted to reinvest that cash flow. And we're doing that in real estate. We're doing that as LP in deals. We're doing it in some alternative investments, but we're also doing it in professional development, right? So attending conferences, being part of the coaching program. So I would say that if you're a super beginner and you don't think you want to take action, I'm sure Josh won't have a problem saying, you know, maybe you just need to listen to the podcast a while. Maybe this isn't for you, right? But if you want to take some action and you want some actionable steps and you want to be around people doing it, then join the program. I'd say join it for a year. If you don't get traction, find something else to do with your time.
I love that. Pete, I love that. That's just straight cut to the point. This is how it is, right? I mean, you either become a professional and take professional steps, or you stay a W-2 employee and you work 40 years of your life, and that's what you get. I absolutely love that. Networking is huge. Networking is big, and Josh talks about that. So how can people reach out to you? How can they, if they want to be part of, meet you at a networking event, how can they reach out? And if they have, maybe ask you a question or two.
Sure. Yeah. Well, number one is if you do join the mastermind, or have joined it recently, I will be at the Cleveland Mastermind event coming up next month in August. So I will be there. If you did not join or you're not making it, you can check out our website at capitalturners.com. All our connection is there. Our business cell phone is there. We're just a text message away. Hit us up if you want to learn more.
Man, I love that. Before I let you go, Pete, I got to ask you, top books you would recommend anybody to read to help them progress along in life.
Yeah, there's some really popular books out there, but I would say for mindset, the old Think and Grow Rich is huge. That was a big part of mine. I also read a bit more obscure book that'll be a little bit more difficult for people to find, but I'm sure they'll still find it. It's by Jim Rohn. For those of you who don't know, Jim Rohn was actually coach and mentor to Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. You probably heard of him. So Jim Rohn has a book about setting goals, and it's how to build wealth and excellence. And it's a whole program for writing down your goals and really prioritizing your life to be successful.
Great books, guys, from great people to learn. Okay, I have to ask this question before I let you go. Your wife that you met, was it at Josh's program? Was it a different real estate?
Yeah, no, I definitely encourage people, if they're looking at Josh's program, is awesome. But we were members of a local real estate group in our home state. And we went there for a seminar for a weekend, like flipping houses or something like that. And we happened to run into each other there. So
that guy, see that? You never know. You can meet your future wife at one of these real estate conventions.
Absolutely.
There you go, Pete. Thank you so much. Your story is incredible. Guys, we'll have all the ways you can reach out to him. This has been another fantastic episode of the Accelerated Real Estate Investment. We'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great day.
You were just listening to the Accelerated Investor Podcast with Josh Cantwell. If you enjoyed this episode and learned something new, help us build the AI community by leaving a review and 5-star rating on our iTunes podcast channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. To see passive investing opportunities, visit freelandventures.com/passive. To start your journey toward the lifestyle you've always dreamed of with multifamily apartments, apply for one-on-one coaching with Josh at www.joshcantwellcoaching.com.